of questions. And so I have a question for you, Karen, and it's actually
Okay.
a personal one. So I've shared over the past several months that my dad died in November, and so this is my first Father's Day without him. And I'm a little nervous about it, to be honest. Trying to give it some thought. So, Karen, what advice could you give me to maybe help me get through this first Father's Day without my dad?
Yeah. So, and Kelly, as you know, just from other times through this loss, the first can be a challenge in terms of trying to figure out what to do. And I think there's a lot of concerns, sometimes dread, hesitation that we may have about maybe even just the ability to be able to get through it, knowing that it's going to look so different. One thing I've been talking to people about this a lot this week is the idea of having a plan and having at least some idea of how you want to spend that time. I think sometimes there's some pressure that we put on ourselves to be trying to figure out, how do I honor them? Is there something that I can do that it be very reflective of their personality and the things that they liked, or something I can do that just shows them how much I miss them, how much I love them. I find, the more I think about that stuff, the harder it gets, the more stress that I get about it, that I end up not being able to figure it out at all. And, as I said to people, like, what could you possibly do that's really going to show how unique this person is, how special they were to you, how much you miss them? That's just putting a lot of pressure on some sort of ritual or event. So to me, these days are actually a lot more about you being the one here trying to get through them. So I think the focus needs to be on what's going to help you. Is it spending time with other people? Is it pulling back and spending some time alone? Is it just planning to be in your PJs all day? Like, that is a plan. And we don't really know what's going to work, especially when it's our first time. I was talking to this with somebody the other day. We're kind of like writing our own manual along the way and trying to figure out what I need, and what you do or don't do this year may help you next year to know. But this year, it's hard to say. So, do you have some thoughts, Kelly, of how you're going to be spending the time?
Well, I've kind of thought about, obviously my mom died 30 years ago, so I've had a lot of Mother's Days without her. And so there's things that I have done. I always usually avoid social media.
Hmm.
I don't really want to see all the posts about people sharing about how wonderful their mothers are and celebrating with them. And I've always avoided restaurants
Mm-hmm.
on Mother's Day just because I don't want to see that either. And my nephew is in town for the weekend and he wants to get together on Sunday. He's like, "Can we go out to lunch?" And I was like, "Nope." So I said I'm not interested in going into a restaurant on Father's Day because I don't know how I'll feel. And so he was okay with that. So we're gonna meet up with him and his pup and take me and my pup out for a nice walk. Hopefully, it's here in New York and all it does is rain, so who knows if it will. So we're gonna start that at a nice nature preserve that I love. Going to and seeing a lot of animals and fun things like that. So we're gonna do that on Sunday morning,
Okay.
and I don't really have anything else planned for the day. I know I probably will avoid social media,
Yeah.
or I may do my own posts for my dad initially, but then um, taking a break from that for even probably Monday too, because then the posts still are rolling in from
Oh,
the
yeah.
day before.
Yeah. I think a
Um,
several day break is
yep,
helpful,
yep,
and it's one of the simpler but better pieces of advice for grieving people. Like I always say, like, social media is really not your friend, and especially these holidays like this, because everybody wants to post about, my dad and why he's so special. And the thing is, we're not trying to deny anybody else that happiness or the fact that they have their dad, but it's just very painful, to be seeing that when you are hurting and when you're missing someone that you love.
and I think it's normal to feel jealous,
Yeah, sure. Of course.
right?
Absolutely.
That all these people, I'm always amazed by people that have both of their parents and even grandparents at my age, like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am a little jealous.
Yeah. And I think jealous is almost a nice word. I mean, some people can feel like resentful, like,
Exactly.
we can have some thoughts that aren't very comfortable for us. But when people share those with me, I'm like, it's honest. It's okay. That's
Hmm.
normal, to be feeling that way. So, yeah. So I think, staying off social media, probably staying a little more like, y- you know, close to home, if you're able to do that, is
Mhm.
helpful for
Yep.
some people. And sometimes you can feel overstimulated out in crowds. And again, there could be more triggers. Some of the questions that I've had also have been with people who maybe are parents and they have their husband, who's a father, and they're like, well, how do I make it a nice day for him? But I just lost my dad. That was a big
Mhm.
topic in my loss of parent group. And, so what we talked about is maybe doing like a half and half, like
Yep.
maybe you do something, of course, to honor your husband and the father of your children, but then sort of say like, and then can you take them to the movies or something for the rest of the day, or go, you guys go do
Mhm.
something so I can kind of hang at home and rest. Like, I think some people are putting a lot of pressure to like fully participate in the Father's Day, and they're like, I'm just going to bring everybody down because I'm going to be struggling. So that was one of the sort of suggestions that we had talked about in that group, is if you do have to participate in Father's Day, maybe you're only kind of half there, and then some part of the day can be for you. That's
Yeah.
important.
And as I always say, no is a complete sentence.
Yep.
So you don't have to explain yourself. So if you don't want to do something, it's okay to say no. It's also okay if your dad just died and you don't want to go to your father-in-law's for Father's Day. It's okay to say no this year and say, I just can't do it this year.
Yeah, this year. That's the part that's so important. And I do try to remind people, like, just give yourself a little grace for this year. It doesn't mean that you're going to be opting out of all future holidays. We talk about this with the winter holidays a lot. Like, it's just the
Hmm.
first year, it's just this year. If I have to do things a little bit differently, doesn't mean we can't jump back into some traditions down the road or something. But this year, I can't do it. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
thank you, Karen. Thank
Yes.
you for answering my question.
Yeah. Well, take care of yourself, Kelly. That's going to be the important
Thank
thing.
you. And for everybody that's watching that may be grieving this Father's Day, we see you, we acknowledge you, and please make sure you take care of yourself and just be kind to yourself.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon. Take care.